The Chiefs are back-to-back Super Bowl champions.
All right,
I like.
So do you think Trey's return makes the Chiefs the favorites to win the Super Bowl this year? Let's start with Nick.
Well, I think they're already the favorites to win the Super Bowl this year. I know a lot of people picking the Ravens and the Bills and maybe the Lions in the NFC, maybe the 49ers make a comeback. But listen, if all the things we talked about before the questions, if they have their left tackle solved and a left guard, you add Smith, you've got 5 Bohemian guys on the offensive line. Smith is imperative long term. He has to be a Chief. He has to be a Chief long term. They have until July 15th to work out a contract. I would assume that he didn't show up in Kansas City for the mandatory minicamp. The fines aren't all that great. He did sign his tag of 23.8 or 23.3 million.
I think he was there yesterday.
He was there yesterday. I don't know about today, but he definitely was there yesterday. And I think that's a good sign. I think he believes they're going to get a deal done. But he's in my view the best right guard in the NFL. He's going to get paid to be the best right guard in the NFL. Creed Humphrey's already signed long term. You got your left tackle situation covered for at least the next 2 to 4 years or 5 years, depending on if the team picks up the franchise option, which obviously they will on Simmons as long as he plays great. So their offensive line is going to be settled. Now right tackle, they're going to go a new direction after this year. But Trey Smith he's a game changer. Another guy who didn't play well in the Super Bowl. He's come back with a fire. He loves Kansas City. He calls it his home. I think he's going to live here after he retires. So yeah, to me, he healthy in the fold, happy with a fat new contract. Big advantage for Kansas City for the chances to win another Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'll say it's a big chance because he is the enforcer. I seen this kid maul people down the field coming from the 6th round for Tennessee. Coming from where he came from, and the Chiefs got a steal in him. Hey, this kid, I feel like he can, when he come back, this contract year, just somebody in his caliber to be drafted in the 6th round is still shocking to me. The contract that he's about to receive had all them teams that passed up on it. That let you intelligently know that Brett Veach is that guy that actually gets things done around here in the kingdom. That's why the Chiefs still continue to be in this race for AFC championship and championships. Unheard of like other teams around the NFL. But yeah, him returning to the Chiefs, man. If he could come back and come back at take that L to the heart where they faced that with them all-star monsters. From Looney Tunes. What was that show back there?
Monstars, Space Jam, sir. Shout out to Michael Jordan, man.
Shout out to Michael Jordan. They ran up against the All-Stars and Space Jams.
That's a good
question. The Monstars, the boy got beat. Oh, man.
Is he Will Shields?
That's a question I have here, so we ain't gonna answer that.
Okay, we'll answer that.
Kareem's mentally tuned into the show.
God, he is, man. What's the show probably going to be Friday?
Thinking Brandon Flowers. He's asking the right questions.
He woke up with defense on his mind, right? From my thing is this: hell yeah, he's gonna be needed because if Trey Smith doesn't play, y'all don't pay that man. It's gonna be another bad year for the Kansas City Chiefs and the offensive line. That man's a stud. Like Hens said, man, he's a mauler. We know about the game in Denver. You know what he get in Denver. He poses will. But definitely, you got to sign Trey Smith. You got to sign him. If not, it's going to be another downgrade because now he's gone. And then the tackle situation is up in shambles. So hell yeah, you got to sign him. Hell yeah.
Okay, I don't know. I don't see where it asks about that, but that's cool.
Hey, you got to add a little more sugar to the cake, man.
Absolutely, absolutely.
That's right.
Well, let's put it this way: having him on the team certainly keeps them in the mix. I don't know that one spot, all of a sudden makes them favorites to win the Super Bowl. I think they certainly are the favorites in the AFC. Without him, they probably would have been downgraded a bit, but with him, they have that opportunity and, the rest of the offensive line and so forth. But no, he's going to get paid, to his worth. The Chiefs made him a priority. I think in their minds, he was the best free agent available. He just happened to be on their team. So we're going to pay him top dollar, and it's going to get done. I would imagine there's no reason for them to, string him along or say, well, you're going to have to prove it on the franchise tag. I don't think that's the way they're doing this. So, but in terms of the 6th round thing, again, now we well documented that was a medical thing. Most teams, took them off their respective boards just because they were afraid that, he was, going to have some issues, blood clotting, that whole thing. And, maybe lightning will strike twice, where a lot of teams were concerned with Josh Simmons, didn't want to take a chance in the 1st round. Now, obviously, he didn't go to the 6th round, but at the end of the 1st, this could turn out to be one of the steals of the draft. So, as far as Trey, he keeps us in the mix to be favorites. And, God help him, and God willing, they sign that contract quickly.
That's right.
I agree.
Let's get to the next question.
Kareem, could Trey become the next Will Shields for the Chiefs? Nick?
I think absolutely. I think Will was the left guard, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Right guard.
He was right guard. So sorry, my bad. That's right. Waters played left guard.
No stink on him.
I listen, he was part of the greatest offensive line in Chiefs history. Now, will this one become that? Remains to be seen. I don't think we'll know until they settle the right tackle situation, but I think it has the potential. But I don't see any reason why he can't have a Hall of Fame career. I mean, you talked about being an Iron Man for Mitchell. No one was more of an Iron Man than Will Shields. I don't know the number of games that he played consecutively, but it was pretty long career. Will was a leader. He was a mauler out there. He understood exactly, what needed to be done, play in and play out, and you never had to worry. When Trent Green was was the quarterback, he never had to worry about a guy coming and blowing up the middle because Will Shields and Casey Wigman, who was undersized to her center, just did the job. And I think Simmons could be, or Trey Smith could be, the second coming of Will Shields. Absolutely. He may already have.
That's tough.
I think he's playing better at this age than it took Will a couple of years, even though he started right away, former 3rd round pick from Nebraska. But I think they're on the same trajectory.
Yeah, I think he's the same guy, different number.
Yeah.
When I watched the tape, same guy, different number.
You was gonna butter his biscuit.
168, 165, and the other one still looked the same kid. Hey, man, the same skin tone. But hey, I'll say this: I think Will Shields was, he's up there. Playing next to John Tate. He was out there balling it out. He's out there, playing great. But that's a hard comparison to get him there.
It is. Yeah.
I say he got the rings, and the accolades, the Pro Bowls. I feel like the kid, if you keep playing at a high level, he can be right up on the ring honor up there with Will Shields as well. Because Will Shields was a mauler. I mean, the best I just seen. He had that offensive line had Ray Lewis crying on the sideline.
Shout out to Vermeil.
They had him crying on the sideline. I feel like that, and that's what the attitude. That's why I said earlier, the enforcer. That's what Trey Smith brings on this offensive line. He brings that attitude. And I'm not the only one that said he was the enforcer of the team. Travis Kelce quoted that as well back then, like when the kid, I think his 2nd year or his first year playing, that he's the enforcer out there. You got every team got to have that enforcer that sets the tone for the team. And I think that's what Trey Smith brings. And that's what, that's why I kind of see with him and Will Shields as well. So I feel like, can he become the next Will Shields? Definitely. Switch the number to the same number.
Man, I knew your ass was gonna say something like that. I mean, you're gonna keep buttering the biscuit. I get it. No, honestly, Will Shields is a legend, ladies and gentlemen. He is a legend. One of the best guys from my favorite coach, Dick Vermeil era. He's one of the best to do it, man. Credit to Dick again. But from his perspective, Trey Smith is a stud, man. He is a hell of a player. He's great at this time. What they like this time, this system, and what they're doing right now. Yes, he fit this system completely. But to compare him to Shields, hell no. Nah, he ain't Shields, but he is good though. He ain't Shields, but he is good. He very serviceable when it comes to Shields, and he's all right. He's all right now, but he ain't Shields, man.
Imagine how good Coach would be if he just read and answered the question.
I got to put a little flavor on it now.
It just amazes me. I think, to Nick's point, they're definitely on the same path as is it right now. And I think every offensive lineman at their core wants the first description to be of themselves is just nasty. And I think both these guys had that about them. I mean, you're coming, playing offensive line at Nebraska just historically has been those were just a bunch of nasty dudes, no matter, what they were there, red, every one of them got redshirted. Every one of them put on about 100 pounds while they were there under Tom Osborne, and they all were like ballers and just would be maulers. And that was Will Shields. Now, can Trey Smith, I think the only thing right now that is between he and Shields is time, right? He needs that time to continue to play. But at this frame where they've both played like 3 years, he certainly has the skills, the ability, and the nastiness to get to that level. So I don't think there's any question about it that he can certainly become that type of player.
Because back then they had more, 2-a-days and more padded practice.
Oh, yeah, it was brutal. I mean, Vermeil had 3.5-hour practices. And then he would do 2 days in pads. He was relentless. These guys were exhausted. Marty was the same way, and obviously
they did the Disney special on Vince Papale. What was that called?
It was
Mark Wahlberg played him. It's like a one-word thing. Anyway, but basically, it's like Dick Vermeil, college coach at UCLA, comes to Philadelphia. Invincible. There you go. Because it was Vince Papale. There
you see what Dick Vermeil did? They sweating. They going through hell. That's why they so great, man. That's why he was so great.
He was so worried about attention to detail and having the toughest team and so forth. They just the work was just relentless.
Yeah,
and I think eventually that's what kind of got him burnt out of coaching. It did. He was just running himself ragged. So, but anyway, it's all
right. It's all right, Lou. Take your time.
I think he's got it. He's got a chance. He certainly does, because so far he, I think, at the same level is as good.
Okay, let's get to the next.